Hi, everyone. It's great to be here again. Welcome to your Saturday TTA webinar. I see a lot of people have already arrived from all over the world, which is great. For those of you who haven't met me before, my name's Lisa. I am from Robertson in South Africa. That is not that far from Cape Town, but smaller. And it is lovely, sunny South African day today. I see people from all over the world, which is great. Today, we're going to be speaking about a specific assignment, and all the questions and everything we're talking about is based on that. And after we go through all the slides, then there will be an opportunity for questions and answers, and they will also be specifically on the slides. So welcome everyone from Belgium, Budapest, Germany, Hungary, Portugal, England. It's great to see you, and I hope I will get through everything that you are wanting to know about and that I'll be able to answer all your questions. So let's go straight into our slides. So we are talking about level 5, assignment B. This is the grammar assignment. It is the main grammar assignment. Those of you who are doing level 3, assignment A, you can listen. A lot of this is similar, not exactly the same, but some of it will be relevant because it's also a grammar assignment. But today we're focusing on level 5, assignment B. Okay, so this assessment serves as an assessment of the following. So this is what all of the markers and the people who are marking and putting this on are looking for. They're looking to see your ability to create a grammar lesson using the PPP form, which is I'm going to go blank now. So the absolute blank. I'll come back to it, obviously, the PPP. So presentation, practice, and production is the PPP form. We will look at it more closely. Your understanding of MFP, so that is meaning, form, and pronunciation. Lots of acronyms here. Okay, and your ability to elicit information from the students and concept check. So to look at how they are learning and ask the correct questions. So that is what this assignment is looking at. That's the overall. Okay. So the main thing, the grammar that this assignment is all about is the first conditional form. Okay. So an example, if it is hot today, I will go to the beach. So English has quite a few conditionals. First conditional is one very specific one that uses if and will. So the first part of the first clause in the first conditional is in the present simple tense, and the second part, the second clause, is in the future simple tense. Very specific, uses if and will. We are only testing and you are only teaching the students if and will. No other modals, so not would, can, any of the others, only if and will for this assignment. Also, it's quite a complicated thing to teach, so focus on just if and will. It's fourthly really. Research the reading for pronunciation first. So do your research about the first conditional form. Don't get confused with the other conditionals. Every time I mark the assignment, and then so many people get confused, and I'll say it right from the start and start talking about the lottery. The first conditional deals with real situations, things that are likely and probable. So if it's hot tomorrow, it probably will be. I will go to the beach. If it rains, I will take an umbrella. If I study, I will pass the test. So we're talking about things that are likely to happen, not if I win the lottery. That is not likely, because immediately you would go to I would instead of I will as well. Also doesn't deal with things like if I had wings, because you don't. And then immediately you would go into the past tense and the past perfect. So do your research carefully and look only at the first conditional, which deals with real, likely things, real, likely situations. Okay, very important. So there are 4 main conditionals. There's 0, first, second, and third. This is the first that deals with likely real situations. So really just spend a couple of minutes looking at all of them and so you cement it in your head what you are dealing with in this assignment. Okay, great. So before you start writing it, there are a whole bunch of documents to download, as you know, with all your assignments. So you go to the assignment page and you download all the documents. So you need your template. This is what I'm speaking today about, is the new version, 2.0 or whatever, the new version of this that has come into being since the 3rd of December, so this week. So, and that's what we are all doing. The ones that had the previous incarnation of this assignment, you can still write and hand in up until the 16th, but this assignment is looking specifically at the new version because it's the new version. All right, so you download the template one, which includes your template for the PPP grammar table. That is the, well, also again, we'll look at it more carefully, but it's sort of it's the overview of your lesson and what you're teaching. Then the lesson plan itself, which is broken down how you'll actually teach. The teacher language document, which is part of the lesson plan. So it slots into the lesson plan. It becomes the presentation section of it. And it's your script for the lesson, which will be the eliciting questions, and the bibliography. So you have to add all your sources that you have used in your assignment and add that as well. So template one includes all 4 of those. So it's in a row: the grammar table, then the lesson plan, then the teacher language document, and then the bibliography, all in a row. And then the second template is just for materials. And as I say, as we have all said before, you must download the materials, copy and paste them, or even screenshot them. Just putting up a link is not acceptable because the markers do not have time to go and click on everything. So you must add the actual materials you will use. So these include the worksheets that you will do, if you have matching sentences that they must be cut out, little strips of paper, that. If you have photographs that you would like to show in your warmer of snowy days, those are all the materials that you include. And the actual worksheets, not just question 1 and 2. If you're doing gap fill worksheet, the whole worksheet, or the multiple choice, the whole worksheet. So materials, all of the materials that you would use in your lesson. Okay. I see there are some questions. I will answer all the questions after we've gone through the slide. There is plenty of time today to answer about the new format and everything else. But first, we will go through all the lessons. Great. Okay. So those documents, I'll go back a page. Those documents to download are the ones that you will be writing on, typing on. Those are the ones that you will be submitting. You download them. They are in MS Word format. You write on them, fill them in, put all of your work onto the documents. Then you make sure that they are converted to PDF, and then you submit them. So those are the first documents to download, but there are more to help you out. So you are also given in this set of documents model assignment files. So you can download, and it shows you exactly how you can look at a model assignment. So it will show you how much information to use, how much detail, how you put the entire assignment together. But take note, the model assignment is on a completely different topic. It is not on the first conditional. The model assignment is actually on the present perfect, I think, if I'm wrong, I don't know, but it's not on the first conditional. So yes, look at the model assignment. It shows you how, but don't get confused. Don't think that the grammar that it's speaking about and the worksheets that it's showing you have got anything to do with the assignment that you are doing. It's just there to show you this is how you do it, but it's not giving you the information. It's not giving you exactly what you need. It's just showing you this is how you do it. All right, so don't get confused between the topic for the model assignment and the topic for your assignment. You use the model as a guide only. Okay, so your assignment template is as I said before, It's the PPP, the lesson plan, the teacher language, the bibliography, and the materials. So those are the ones you need to download. So the model ones and then the template. So you must use the template as well. Use the actual template that has been provided. That it makes it all nice and neat. It fits in. It was designed specifically for this assignment. So use it. Use it well. And also remember to name your assignment correctly. There is a convention for naming. Use that as well. It's like I'm not going to give it to you correctly now, but there's the date and the name of the assignment and your name. And it's given to you as well. So remember to name all your assignments correctly. If it just comes up as assignment 1, then it's confusing. Whose assignment is it? So make sure you name them correct, your assignment correctly as well. Good. I sound like I'm being very bossy. I don't mean to sound so bossy, but these are all things that you really need to take in. Write notes, remember, underline, get a highlighter, and remember that the model assignment is not on the same topic. All right, good. Okay, so now a little bit more specific. So the PPP grammar table serves as a summary of your lesson. So it isn't the exact lesson, but it explains what you're going to be teaching. So it explains what the form is, what the model sentences that you are going to elicit from the students will be. So you'll have your positive model sentence, negative model sentence, question model sentence, and the form of them. So the form is if plus subject plus all of that, plus infinitive, etc. So that is included in the PPP grammar table. And so it also is a summary of your knowledge of the meaning, form, pronunciation of the target language. So the pronunciation in terms of where does the stress go in the sentence? Is it actually on if, or is it on the verbs and content words? So it looks at that as well. And the words like do not become don't, will not, does not become won't. I wish it did. It becomes won't. So all that kind of thing. All right. You also need to fill in every category. A few of the categories have been filled in for you. So they're already there. They already have been filled in for you. But all the ones that are blank, you need to fill in each and every single one of them. Don't leave blank spaces. Don't leave something out. Add it all in. Okay. Also make very sure that everything in the grammar table that you include relates to your lesson. So not just and the first conditional. So it relates to the grammar, firstly, and the topic. So if your topic is about the weather, which is a great topic because we never know the condition of the weather. So for instance, if you are talking about the weather, then your topic right throughout the lesson starts with the lesson of the weather, go back to the weather. Don't swap. You're going to talk about the weather and then all of your sentences are actually about studying, because that's confusing. If you are teaching your students one thing and you set it up, you have pictures, we have snow, and now your model sentence is about studying and passing tests. It's confusing. It's confusing for the markers because we think, what was that? And it would be equally confusing to students. Obviously, as they know more, you can expand their knowledge on the topic. But to begin with, when it is being elicited and being explained, make sure that your topic aligns with the rest of the submission. And obviously, the grammar needs to align. It is all about the first conditional. It doesn't suddenly swap and become about the present perfect, or suddenly swap and become about the second conditional. The whole assignment is just on one grammar topic and needs to be the same grammar topic from the beginning right through all of the different parts of the submission, right to the end. It sounds obvious. I think what potentially happens is that you start your assignment in November and then you get busy and you come back to it halfway through December and you think, yes, okay, you carry on and you forget that you were talking about the weather. Remember what you were talking about and go back and look at it. That is my biggest piece of advice about this assignment, is keep it all in one topic. Okay, Good. Here we have a timeline. It's been squished a little. So the timeline is part of the PPP table. So it's part of this first little section that is the overview of what you are going to discuss and show in your lesson. Timeline. Okay. So you have been given a very good one that is perfectly clear and shows you exactly what is going on. The timeline shows, I'm not going to explain it now. I've said it so many times to so many students. It is the relation between the two clauses. So the if clause and the result clause. So the timeline is showing the relation between the two clauses. If it rains, I will take an umbrella. Okay. So, new people coming. So it doesn't matter if it is today that it rains or tomorrow or later. Obviously, I'll get into how it actually works, but you don't need to add the time. It doesn't need to be September or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The timeline is not actually a calendar. All right. And it's also not a weather report. So you don't need to put a whole I don't know why there's so many weather reports. The timeline is just showing that the if clause comes before the result clause. It has to. So if it rains, I will take an umbrella. You won't take an umbrella if it doesn't rain. So what you are showing is the relation between the two clauses. And also, this is what is a little bit mind-numbing. Even though you use the present simple present tense for the first clause, if it rains, it hasn't happened yet in the present. So you use the present tense, but it hasn't happened in the present. So it's actually potentially, probably happening in the future. So your timeline it's not in the present, it's in the probable future. It probably will happen, but it hasn't happened yet. And then you will take an umbrella, obviously hasn't happened yet. So that is definitely in the future. But both clauses happen in the future. It is a little bit crazy. So get your head around that, because that is one of the, if you get that, then you're A for away. Then you can explain it well to students as well. So timeline that is given to you as an example is perfect. What you can do is you then add in your model sentence to make it clear. So if you're now talking about weather, or you're talking about a birthday party is coming up. If you have a party, I will bring you a present. So again, in the future, the probable future. So you put the first clause above or below the first X, and the second clause above or below the second X. So that is how the timeline works. It is not about 2 o'clock in the afternoon and 4 o'clock in the evening. It's not about today and tomorrow. Maybe it is, but it doesn't have to be. So you don't have to give the actual time or the actual day. It is just the relation between the two clauses that you are showing. I've marked a lot of these assignments. So if it looks like I'm getting a bit pent up, it's because I wish I could explain it to people. So I'm enjoying explaining it now. All right, great. I'm not going to overtime. Okay, lesson plan. Include the details of your lesson. So the aims, objectives, assumed knowledge, anticipated problems. So this is actually, so first on that long section that you download is the PPP table. Then underneath that is a lesson plan, which is another table. Some of it has also been filled in. And one of the things you need to fill in is the nationality and first language of your students that you will be teaching. Don't leave that out. They are aged 14 to 16. They speak the same language. It's a monolingual, hang on. Yes, they speak one language. Well, English, their second language, but they all speak the same first language. So fill that in. Okay, then, so that's above the lesson plan. Like another set of stuff you need to fill in, and the anticipated problems, what you think the students would know, what you think they might find difficult. A lot of the assignments speak about Spanish students where they use if in both clauses. So like that, for instance, is one of the examples. All right. Then we go into the actual plan. So you have the stages. We will go into more detail. The three stages plus the warmer and the plenary. So the one before and the one afterwards. The stage aim, the timing. How long does each stage take? The interaction. So what part of it is the teacher doing? What part of it is the student doing? So maybe right in the beginning, the teacher is asking questions. Later on, the students are filling in the worksheet. So you need to write that all in. And then underneath the lesson plan is another small section, which is the paragraph, which just asks, why did you pick the materials and the subject matter that you have picked? And it's a short section. It gives you a word count. So it's just a short section just to explain yourself, explain the rationale behind why you picked the weather, why you picked studying, why you picked birthday parties or holidays. So, and why you picked to do gap fill worksheets, etc. Okay, and there is a word count on that. It's not a long section, it's a short section. Here are the lesson plan stages, which I know so well, I was just getting tongue-tied. Okay, so the warmer is the first short section. It's a warm-up, like an icebreaker. So it's the students come in, you start chatting to them, you introduce some kind of topic and get them talking and thinking about something. So that's the first short section, is literally to warm the students up. They've come in from maths, or they're online and they've come from supper or whatever. So it's literally just to get yourself all in the same place. Not the time for introducing the grammar or asking questions. It's just a little warm up to welcome the student and just to sort of set the scene. Presentation in the lesson plan, you now in the new format of this, you don't fill that part in because you are going to fill the details of the presentation stage in the teacher language section. So the one section sort of slots into the other. So in the lesson plan stages, that you can reference see teacher language section, because that's where you'll put all the details. Okay. Practice stage is also sometimes known as the controlled practice stage. That is the time where you hand out worksheets. So it's to give the students things that they can look at that are now familiar. It has been explained and they can then start working it out. But it's not, they don't have to know too much. It's not free yet. They're filling in, they're matching clauses, they're writing things down. So that is the practice, which is the controlled practice stage. Then the third or the fourth stage, depending if you count the warm and the plenary, the produce or production stage, which is also called the freer practice stage. That is the time where you are hoping that the students will actually speak freely. They will start chatting to each other and using the new grammar in their own way. So they're using it in a real conversation with their classmates or with the teacher. So it is the time not for gap fill worksheets. Now they actually need to try and speak properly and use the grammar in a freer, more relaxed way, a real way. And then the plenary, also a short stage, it's wrapping it up. So maybe getting the students to explain the grammar to each other, telling them, imagine that Jean-Marie wasn't in the class, and explain to her how it happened. So that's the kind of thing you do, or maybe just go through the rules. So that's the plenary. All right. I'm talking slower today and going on. Okay, teacher language section, also very, very important. So first section, eliciting the target language. This is a big thing. Eliciting means getting it from the students. So you put ideas in their head and then gather the information from them. So if, for instance, you're talking about the weather, you say, you try not to say if the weather. It's one of those hard things. If you try and give a definition of the word and then you can't use the word. So you need to try and get the grammar from them without giving them the grammar. So try not to use if, and don't use any of your model sentences. So you say, it's a sunny day. What do you do on a sunny day? I go to the beach. You go to the beach. What do you do if it's raining? I don't go to the beach. And then you get that kind of question from it. You start getting them to link the ideas up. You try and get if from the student. You put these together, then you've got a bit of a sentence. So you eventually get the model sentence from the students. If it's sunny, I will go to the beach. So you gather all that information from the students to get the model sentence together. As ask simple graded questions using your warmers context. So again, the context or theme that you have, use that to elicit the model sentence. Get them to gradually piece it together. So, you need this, then you need that, then it's this tense, word by word, and you help them put it together like a puzzle. Okay. Then eliciting form. So now we have our sentence. Now we go, okay, so we have if. Then what comes next? Is it the subject? Is it the person? Is it and again, bit by bit, step by step, go through each little piece of your model sentence that they can then discover the form of it on their own. Obviously, you might need to help and straighten it out. Okay. Use your model sentence and get students to identify the various aspects. So where's the verb? What kind of verb? Is it an infinitive? Is it the base form verb? Is it the present tense or the future tense? So you look through all of those steps until you have the form. Grade your language. So they are A2 students. So don't use complicated words. Don't use crazy words. Just use words that they know. Beach, will, all the things that they already know. And unlike me talking so much, reduce your TTT, teacher talking time. So the plan about eliciting is to get the students to talk more than the teacher. That is the idea. So the more they do on their own, the more they will realize. Okay, teacher language. So this is the third part of the teacher language section. So the first part is to get the model sentence. Second part is to get the form. And the last part is to concept check. So that's to check that they understand everything. Do they understand the function of this grammar, how it works and why it works? And assessed with concept questions. So when does this happen? Which clause happens first? Which clause happens second? Can one clause happen without the other? That kind of question that you need to ask. Do the clauses happen in the present or the future? Are we dealing with imaginary situations or real situations? Yes, things that can really happen. Okay, so 2 events, both likely, second event depending on the first, all of those things you have to check for all of those. Concept check for the important things that make up the very specific first conditional. And you just got a lovely set of conditionals for every scenario. Just make sure that you're using the right one right throughout. And then again, I did mention it before, the materials. Include the actual things, copied, pasted, or inserted, or screenshots. So not just links. As I said, I did mention it before. And you must reference all the materials in your bibliography. And there's a special section in the assignment section that will tell you how to put your bibliography together as well. Okay, so materials is in its own separate. So it's two submissions that you will be handing in. The first one contains 4 things, and materials just contain the materials. So it's just 2 things. All right. The bibliography is actually in the one section. Now I'm I'm not 100% sure now. Anyway, but the bibliography is in one of the sections. So include reference for all of your materials, use the referencing guide, and don't provide only links again. So say where you got it from, if you know who wrote it, when you access that information, so add the date. So give all the details. All right, now also the new world of TTA. There's copy leaks, which is an AI and plagiarism check. So it looks through all of your stuff and checks for plagiarism and AI, the maximum allowable score, because sometimes the question might get picked up by mistake as plagiarism. So that's why there is an allowable score of 20%. If you have any issues, as we always say, contact tutor support. You can send a ticket to tutor support. All right. I marked assignment a couple of days ago where someone had put a handwritten, like a picture, like a picture of a handwritten thing in their assignment for the materials. And the AI didn't pick that up. So it said that it was 97% plagiarism. And it was because the only words that it read were the questions. It didn't read that handwritten sort of picture. So obviously the marker, I could read it, but the AI copy leaks didn't read it. So it then said that it was 97% plagiarized. Meanwhile, it was just that it could only read the question, couldn't read that handwritten bit that was pasted in. All right. All previous webinars are available on the TEFL Academy YouTube channel, as you know. So this one has been done before as well, a few times. So each marker and person who works and does webinars sort of focuses on different things. So if you are confused and need more information, there are a lot more webinars on this exact topic, and obviously on all the other topics. And if you have further questions, please send a ticket to tutor support, as said. All right. Now we have the Q&A. Okay. I feel like I've talked a bit too much. I'm going to go through some questions that I saw right from the start. Is the new template named differently, or is it download date specific? What is the date the template changed? Okay, the date the template changed was on the 3rd of December. So since the 3rd, you can download the new one, which is streamlined. It really is. It's streamlined. It asks for the same information, but just in a more streamlined way. It's a little bit, the previous one had 6 different submissions that you had to do. And so it was a little more complicated in some ways, just in terms of the format. It's about this exact same topic. It covers the same work, but it's just the new one is more streamlined. Okay, I'm going to go right to the top and say hi from UK, hi from Germany, Belgium, UK, Hungary, United States, Italy, USA. Hi, everyone. Hermanus, not too far from me, more from South Africa. Okay, let's have a look here. This is the material used in my class is my own work. That is excellent. It's great if it's your own work. If you make up an assignment for your students, how do I mark it in okay, a word, say my own, created by myself. That is perfect. You can say maybe inspired by this, but created by myself. So that is excellent. Just, you did it yourself. You can take credit for it. You just need to say, and that's perfect. All right. So we are now ready for more questions. It is a nice warm day. I have a sip of water while the questions come running in. So if you have any questions about this assignment, now is the time. Okay. If we're halfway through, would it be better to download the new template and transfer information to that? I think it depends how halfway through are you. If you're like almost finished, then just send it in. If you've just started, then yes, I think maybe, because it is, as I say, it is the same material. Now I'm hoping that is absolutely fine, that you can do that. I hope that I'm not telling lies here. But if you've just started, but you started, say, last week, then yes, I would say download the new template and transfer information, because it is a little bit more straightforward. In some ways, it's more straightforward. In many ways, it's more straightforward. So yes, obviously, if you are halfway through, it is the same assignment, so it's all fine. There's no problem with finishing off those who have been working on for weeks or months. It is absolutely fine, because it is the same assignment. It tests the same things, talks about the same things, gets the marking form is identical for both. So we are still looking for the same thing. It just is slightly different format. But yeah, if you've just started it halfway, sometimes really halfway, sometimes it's okay. Let's have a look at this one. Okay, how can we effectively apply all the theoretical knowledge in practice? Booklets or materials such as exercise for the lessons? If so, where can we? Okay, so when you download your package, so all of the information in the beginning, your templates and the model lesson, all of that, there are also links in all of that you can, links that show you where to find the information. So it shows you where to look. TTA has a great, has so much information for you, and it shows you where you can find it. So it will show you where to find in all of that package that you download in the beginning. Whereas booklets, materials such as exercise for the lesson, those you need to search for. So look online, there's so much. Unfortunately, a lot, they do want you to pay, not just for a gapful worksheet, but look, there is so much out there. There's so much on the internet. Google has so much. So all the theoretical knowledge. So in practice, you need to just go through it step by step. So go through. There are books as well. I've written this before. There's my hat. There's a Michael Swan. You can also send a ticket for that and ask. I had names of books. But if you go on the TEFL blog, there will be information and pointers and show you where to look. So Google first thing, and then also go back to TTA and have a look at the website, because there's so much information there for you as well. All right. Hypothetical, when fails the course after the 6-month allotted time, can we redo the entire course? Yes, you can. I think you also can if you fail it, yes, you can redo the entire course. I think you also can do like 100%. Like if you run out of time, you can sort of get a bit of extra time. And usually, if you resubmit, you'll find your way through to passing. So if you can't fit it in 6 months, I think you can get an extension. That's the word I'm thinking of. You can get an extension to give you a little extra time. I know that when I was doing one of my courses, I then also got a job about a day after I signed up for it. So suddenly I was like, so I understand. Well, you have to fit it in and work through. But yes, and you can also I don't think you would have to redo the entire course. Don't take that as gospel. But I imagine that you would be able to get an extension and work through it and come back to it. Yeah, that is my guess. And if you hand an assignment in, I didn't actually mention this, but you have to resubmit. Don't worry. Sometimes it's because you've handed in the incorrect. Maybe you didn't hand in your materials. The submission that said materials was just a second copy of the other one. So you might have to resubmit for something like that. Or maybe you missed something. But if you have to resubmit, don't worry. It's fine. It's just like the marker will tell you exactly what you need to look at, and you can just go back through your assignment, fix what needs to be fixed, and resubmit. You get a few chances. If you hand in, as I say, a second copy of the lesson plan, then that doesn't count even. That's a freebie. So that doesn't even count as one of your attempts, but you get 3 attempts to do each assignment, and that's plenty time. And you will work it out. Is there a time limit to complete each assignment? So you have a time limit on your course, which is 6 months. So it depends how quickly you go through each section. But no, if you do one quickly and then you've still got 4 months to do the other, that's fine. That's fine. There isn't a time limit on how long you spend on each one. You just have 6 months. 6 minutes, 6 months for the whole course. But so no, there isn't a time limit on how long it takes you to complete each assignment. You just have to plan well in advance and make sure that you have plenty of time to get through everything. It's the kind of assignment that you need to give yourself a little bit of time to do, that get your head around the grammar first. As I say, just spend a little while looking at conditionals and work out that you know backwards which conditional is which. Because if you know that, you are 90% of the way there. All right, great. Just like the other grammar assignment as well, when there's something specific, just make sure that you really, truly understand that grammar upside down, inside out. Because if you have to teach it and you are not 100% sure, then you get confused. Okay. Just finishing assignment A, I guess the previous one, as I accept, do I need to put this through? Yes, you do. All assignments, whether they are in the old format or the new format, still have to go through copy leaks. So every single thing, everything that is handed in since the 3rd of December will go through copy leaks and get it through the AI plagiarism scan. So everything since, even if it's the old one, even if it's everything goes through the scan, everything, it's there. Everything is being checked by robots. It's really quite scary if you think about it. Anyway, I won't think about it too. Okay, so yes. And some of the assignments have changed very slightly. This one has actually changed, I think, the most. It's because it was one of the hardest assignments to do. It's one of the biggest. It's not an easy feat, this thing. It really is. There's a lot that goes into it. It's not just a quick thing. So this one has been streamlined the most, which is fine. As I say, it still tests and asks for exactly the same information, but it has been streamlined the most. Okay, thank you, John. So yes, everything is getting copy leaked. It made me think of WikiLeaks, which I never really knew much about. So yes, so everything does get checked. And then you will be able to see your little, it will come up, I think, on your assignment and show you your scores for each thing. So your percentage for AI and plagiarism. All right. Great. So that is all. A bit of water. Are there any other questions? I thought that I was taking so long and that we'd be rushing through questions, and now we have plenty time. Plenty time. And I didn't rush. The last time I did this, I got through it in about 20 minutes flat. All right. The software is reliable. Yes. I'm sure it is. And it is also being looked at every day. So everyone is looking at it. All the people who are looking at it every day and tweaking it. And so it is real people, not AI, looking at the AI. So there are real people going through copy leaks and seeing how it is working. So it hasn't just been left there to go wild. It is being monitored by everyone as well. So it's being very carefully watched and monitored and I can't think of the words, but yes. All right. Well, we choose our own topic for assignment B. Okay, so the topic for the assignment is the first conditional. So you won't choose that. That is the topic. But if you're talking about the theme or the context, I'm going to get to that one in a moment. Okay, so the theme or the context that you use for assignment B is up to you. Yes. So obviously the topic for assignment B is the first conditional. The theme or context that you are using is something that you choose. So you think, and I've seen some great ones, excellent context and topics. I saw one yesterday with someone who had delightful pictures of fish being fed. And if you feed the fish, it's all happy and fat. And if you don't feed the fish, it got all sad and thin. It made me laugh. Anyway, so it can be if you feed your pets, or it can be the future. What are you doing for holidays? What are you doing in the weekend? So something that kids would know about, something that teenagers would be interested in. Christmas. If you get money for Christmas, what will you buy? If you have summer holidays, which some people in the Southern Hemisphere are enjoying soon, where will you go? So you can choose your topics and pick something that's don't go crazy, just something that is real and likely and that teenagers would relate to, something that they get. All right. Here we go. Just for your information, AI detection software is not exactly reliable. Yes, I can imagine. There are movies about this. There are so many movies. We need to be careful, I imagine. But as I say, everyone, the humans who work for TTA and who put assignments together and all of that are the ones who are looking very carefully and watching that. So don't worry. Okay, hopefully we're all right. I hope so too. John, I hope so. I believe we will be. I will be back. It is making me think all those things that people thought would happen in the future, and now we are sitting here in the future. Will there be any support available for us when we first begin teaching? Breathfulness, that's a cool name. I think once you have completed your certificate, you can always come back and have a look, and I think that you will be able to access the information that you've used to study, and I think that there will be all of that. There also are. Sorry, I'm speaking gibberish right this minute. TTA also puts people in connection with, like, Preply, for instance. And 2 weeks ago, there was a whole massive day of connecting schools and language schools and people together. So yes, there will be support, but once you get your first job and you are teaching at another school, then they won't be there. But the information and what you've learned will still be available. I do imagine support available, but I think that once you begin teaching, you will have, depending if you teach for a school, if you teach online, if you teach for yourself. So they'll be there, but not holding your hand the whole way. Yeah, I'm sure you'll still be able to access information and connections. All right. So it looks like my top and the chair all one. Like, I have huge shoulders. I just saw that. Okay, I talk nonsense. All right, are there any? Yeah, it's a good one. False positive results are very common in this area. So in case of possible issues, contact student support. Yes, absolutely. All these things. So if you are having issues with copy leaks and plagiarism, you are welcome at every stage to always send a message or a ticket to tutor support, and they'll be there to help you. Yes, completely. So if it's like, what? As I said, the one that was 97%, it was like, obviously there was a mistake there. So immediately go straight to send a ticket immediately and say, what on earth? So you have every right to do that. Let's see. I'm struggling to speak. I believe students will definitely begin to use I would completely. Yes. Very nice, Jada. Thank you. All right. So I would. I would is used for the second conditional, which is the conditional for unreal situations, which is the one I said avoid. Avoid the lottery one. The lottery. Meeting famous people, that one. If I were a superhero, that one. No, that's the one to avoid. That's the one where would will come up, not even would will come up. So yes, absolutely. The more realistic your scenario that you give and the context is, the less likely that would comes up. That would will come up. As soon as you start saying, if I won the lottery, I would, it's because it would be then if I won the lottery, because that is the second conditional. You wouldn't even say if I win, you'd say if I won the lottery, I would. So that is how the second conditional works, which is lovely, but not for this assignment. It's got its own whole place in the world and is useful for all of those imaginary things. If I were Harry Potter's friend, if I could fly, all those lovely things that are imaginary and not real. Yes, we do use would. So I think the more grounded in reality that you get with your context and theme, the less likely that would will come up. Because if you just go to if it rains, I will take an umbrella, less likely to go if it rains, I would take an umbrella. Anyway, that is also not incorrect. It's a modal that you can use. So it's not incorrect to use that. It's just not necessary to add it into this assignment. So it's not incorrect. It's not wrong. We use it in everyday language, and hopefully people speaking English as a second language will also use it one day in everyday language. But in terms of teaching it to teenage A2 level students, to not add too many modals in the first class, because that's just confusing. So that's why we stick to if and will in this lesson. But it's not incorrect. It's just not necessary for this lesson. And it's unavoidable, and specifically when one goes to things that are not real, likely, or probable, then would pops up. It's like, obviously I'd say would, because I don't believe it, because it won't work, won't happen. If I could fly, I would. You would never say, if I can fly, I will. You just wouldn't say that. All right. Thank you. Cool. When one marks lots of these assignments, my family know my face when I see the lottery again. I'm like, not the lottery, please, no, not the lottery. It's not the first conditional, because it is not likely that we will win millions of rands or pounds or dollars or whatever. So just avoid that. I think there needs to be a banner at the top of this assignment that says, please look at real situations. Thank you. All right, great. Real situations, because there are so many, and they are so relatable. Okay. When speakers of other languages translate directly, would comes out when they mean will. Okay. I find it easier to explain to kids, however. Adults seem to stick to would. Is there a way to explain? I think there's something in the word would that's sort of almost, I would say polite. It's almost like a form letter. You say, it's almost like using the passive voice. Like I will sounds very, very overconfident. If it rains, I will take an umbrella. But I wouldn't like stress about it. If they say would by mistake, I don't think that's a problem. Just teach it as will. And if they say would by mistake, as I say, it's not incorrect. It just doesn't fit into the neat form of the first conditional, but it's not incorrect. The other modals do fit into the first conditional, so it is fine. It is just that in this lesson that you are putting together for your students, try to avoid that. But it doesn't matter if someone says by mistake. I think adults also say it's a polite way of saying it. I would. It's like, because would is not, it's not incorrect. It's a different way, but you don't need it for this. You don't need to include it for this lesson. Thank you. All right, great. All right, cool. So going back to see what that was commenting on about the false negatives and. Okay, good. Any advice if the class is mixed with students from various countries and speak different first languages? All right. So 2 answers to that question. If you are in a real class with students from various countries that speak different languages, that is a challenge. And just focus on the task at hand and try not to get too pent up in it. They're all learning English as their second language or as a foreign language for whatever reason. So don't you don't need to get overwhelmed by that. In terms of this assignment, they're not mixed students from various countries. This assignment, your imaginary but real class is from our students from one country who all speak the same first language. So for the assignment, they are all from the same country, speaking the same language. In reality, if you are at an international school or you're at a school where there are students from from different countries, it will definitely be a challenge. And you would just have to work at it step by step. But I hope I've answered your question. So as I say, for this assignment, they're not. They are from one country and speak the same language, because that is in the rules for this assignment, that is what has been set out. Thank you for a good question. Okay, great. We have 3 minutes-ish. Okay, I can still answer 1 or 2 more questions, but I'm going to go to the next slide, which is this one. I'm actually going to go to that, which is the tell us what you thought of this webinar page with a survey monkey. Survey monkey that please spare a minute or 2 to fill in, to just answer some questions and tell us if you enjoyed it, if it was helpful, what kind of topics you would like to see us do for webinars in the future. So if you take a moment, I have there, I wrote in the beginning, so it's there as well in the chat. And if you have the QR code, use the QR code and you will get straight to it. I will leave it up after the lesson for a couple of extra minutes that you can use the QR code and do the survey for us. Page under maintenance. Oh no, that's a pity. Thank you for checking, but that's a pity. Well, I will leave the address out and maybe you can copy and paste it for another day and give feedback another day. But that's a bit sad. I'll leave it up anyway for a few minutes afterwards and leave the address. And perhaps on the TTA page somewhere, there's also a link to this. I'm guessing they would be organized enough to have a link somewhere to the Survey Monkey. Or maybe it must be somewhere. I'm not entirely sure. And if you do want to fill this in, then send a ticket to tutor support and they will point you in the correct direction, as they will for everything. Everyone is there waiting for questions and to give the correct answers. All right, so it seems that we have come to the end. I hope that was useful. I hope I haven't gone too crazy about saying the lottery is not a suitable topic for this assignment, but it just isn't. Okay, but I hope that everything else was clear, and that you feel brave going into this challenging assignment, because it really is challenging. It covers so much, and there's so many things you need to tick and look at and cover. So good luck for that. I hope everyone has an excellent survey. Monkey not working. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for letting me know that it's not working. And thank you, guys. It's been very cool. It is. Oh, I lost connection there for a moment. Luckily, only for. Thank you, John. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Marta. Thank you, Chantal. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I hope you have a great weekend and good luck for your assignment. And see you again. All right. Thanks so much.